The Four Noble Truths, the core teachings of Buddhism, are a deep reflection on the human condition, revealing truths about suffering, its causes, and the possibility of its cessation. But how can these ancient teachings still resonate with us in the modern world? In this reimagined exploration of the Four Noble Truths, we will not only summarize the original ideas, but also weave in personal reflections, relatable examples, and transformative stories that might inspire us to see life through a new lens. If you're ready to begin your meditation journey, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for more guided meditations and transformative practices. Imagine waking up each morning with a sense of unease, that lingering feeling that something isn't quite right. Even in moments of joy, an unexpected promotion, a child's laughter, or a romantic date, there's a subtle but undeniable sense that the happiness won't last. If you've ever felt this way, you're not alone. This is the human condition, and it's what the Buddha discovered over 2,500 years ago when he taught the Four Noble Truths. Before diving into the complexities of these teachings, let's ask ourselves, why does happiness seem so fleeting? Why do we often feel dissatisfied, even when things seem to be going well? The Four Noble Truths offer an answer, not just as abstract concepts, but as a roadmap to understanding and transforming our experience of life. The question of suffering isn't new. It has puzzled humanity for ages. Whether you're living in ancient India or modern New York, suffering, dukkha, is a universal experience. The Buddha identified this pervasive dissatisfaction and offered insights into how we can move beyond it. The first noble truth, life is suffering, dukkha. At first glance, the first noble truth might seem overly pessimistic. Life is suffering. But is the Buddha suggesting that life is just pain and misery? Not exactly. In the original Pali language, the word dukkha encompasses more than physical pain. It includes dissatisfaction, discomfort, stress, and the impermanent nature of all things. Think of a time when you achieved something you had worked hard for, a promotion, a dream vacation, or even winning a sports event. The joy you felt was likely intense, but did it last? Probably not. That's dukkha. No matter how wonderful the moment, it passes, and you're left yearning for something more. This is the subtle, underlying nature of life that the Buddha highlighted. A personal story comes to mind. A friend who spent years climbing the corporate ladder, hoping that the next promotion would finally bring lasting happiness. Yet, each new role only added more stress and less fulfillment. As the Buddha would say, this is the cycle of dukkha. We strive for external achievements, but they never truly satisfy us. The more we seek, the more suffering we encounter. The second noble truth. The cause of suffering is thirst, craving. Why do we suffer? The second noble truth provides the answer, thirst or craving. We suffer because we want things to be different from what they are. We crave pleasure, we thirst for success, and we desire people, experiences, and even emotions. The trouble is, as long as we cling to these desires, we perpetuate suffering. This isn't just limited to physical desires. Craving can also be emotional or spiritual. Think of a parent who deeply desires their child to succeed, only to feel heartbroken when things don't go according to plan. Or someone who craves inner peace through meditation but feels even more agitated when their mind refuses to quiet down. Craving becomes an endless cycle, like a hamster running in a wheel. You chase after something, money, love, status, but once you attain it, the happiness fades, and you're left wanting more. It's never enough. In a famous Buddhist analogy, desire is compared to salt water. The more you drink, the thirstier you become. One poignant example is the life of a close friend who had it all, a high-paying job, a beautiful house, a loving family, but who constantly felt empty. He confessed that even though he had achieved everything he thought he wanted, the gnawing feeling of discontent remained. This is the cycle the Buddha spoke of, where the very act of craving keeps us trapped in suffering. The third noble truth: the end of suffering is possible. The good news is that the Buddha didn't leave us hanging with just the problem. The third noble truth offers hope. Suffering can be ended. There is a way out of this cycle of craving and dissatisfaction, and it's called Nirvana. Now, Nirvana isn't some mystical state that only monks can achieve. It's simply the extinguishing of desire. When we let go of our cravings, our suffering naturally dissolves. But here's the tricky part. Even the desire to end suffering must be abandoned. It's a paradox that can leave you scratching your head, but it makes sense when you understand that desire itself is the root of the problem. Picture this. You're carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones, each stone representing a craving: money, approval, success. The more you try to hold on to these stones, the heavier the load becomes. Nirvana is like putting the backpack down. The weight is lifted and you're free. A personal example of this truth comes from my own life. I had always been a perfectionist, craving validation and success, but the more I pushed myself to be perfect, the more miserable I became. It was only when I started to let go of this need for perfection that I experienced a sense of peace. I wasn't perfect anymore, but I was free from the constant pressure and dissatisfaction. This, in a small way, was my glimpse into the third noble truth. The fourth noble truth: the path to the end of suffering. How do we reach Nirvana? The Buddha didn't leave us guessing. He provided a clear, practical guide called the Noble Eightfold Path. This path isn't about belief or ritual. It's about transforming how we live our lives, moment by moment. The Eightfold Path includes right view, understanding reality as it truly is, especially the nature of suffering; right intention, aligning your motivations with compassion and kindness rather than greed or hatred; right speech, speaking truthfully and avoiding harm with your words; right action, acting in ways that promote well-being and reduce harm; right livelihood, choosing a profession that contributes positively to society; right effort, cultivating positive qualities and reducing negative ones; right mindfulness, developing awareness of your body, feelings, thoughts, and environment; right concentration, training the mind to focus and reach deeper levels of meditation. To understand the power of the Eightfold Path, consider the story of a renowned meditation teacher. She came to the practice with a restless mind and countless desires. By following the path with dedication, she transformed her inner world. Where there was once anxiety and craving, there is now peace and clarity. Another real-world example is the journey of a young entrepreneur who found success but was constantly stressed. By adopting mindfulness and the other elements of the Eightfold Path, he learned to balance his ambitions with inner contentment, leading to a more fulfilling life. Bringing the noble truths to life. As we reflect on the Four Noble Truths, it's easy to think they're abstract teachings meant only for monks in faraway monasteries. But the truth is, they apply to all of us. Whether you're sitting in a high-rise office building or on a meditation cushion, the cycle of suffering and the possibility of liberation are ever present. Personally, I've found that even small shifts, like becoming more mindful of my thoughts or letting go of minor cravings, can lead to profound changes in how I experience life. The Noble Truths aren't just philosophy. They are tools for transforming our everyday struggles into opportunities for growth and freedom. Awakening to reality. At its core, the Buddha's message is simple, yet profound. Life involves suffering, but we don't have to be trapped by it. By understanding the nature of suffering, recognizing its cause, and following the Eightfold Path, we can find a way out. We can awaken to a life that is free from the constant cycle of desire and dissatisfaction. The journey is not easy, and it's certainly not quick. But as the Buddha whispered to his followers over 2,500 years ago, the nightmare we think we're living in is only a dream. And when we awaken, we'll find that reality, true reality, is more beautiful and fulfilling than we ever imagined. In the end, the Four Noble Truths are not about escaping life, but embracing it fully, with wisdom and compassion. As we walk this path, we slowly peel away the layers of illusion, moving closer to the freedom and peace that the Buddha experienced under the Bodhi tree. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of the Four Noble Truths. I encourage you to reflect on these teachings and consider how they can apply to your life, no matter where you are on your journey. If you're ready to begin your meditation journey, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for more guided meditations and transformative practices.